It's 2024. It's never too early to look ahead. Let's take a look at what I think the first round of 2024 fantasy football drafts will look like this time in August. Let's start at number 1, and I think it has to be Christian McCaffrey. I mean, you can make argument that, I don't want to take a running back number 1. He's got injury risk. Okay, I get all that. But also, Christian McCaffrey is such an advantage at the running back position. I mean, let's be real. This year, it was Christian McCaffrey or your running backs pretty much sucked. I mean, yeah, some running backs had good games, but for the most part, they weren't very good all season. It was Christian McCaffrey versus the field this year. The only thing that could possibly hold him back next year is an injury. He's in the best offense for a running back. He's a good player. He catches passes. He scores touchdowns every week. The only worry here is injury risk. You got to take a gamble on that because if he stays healthy, we know he can win leagues. And at number 2, the same could be said for Tyreek Hill. This guy was on fire before he hurt his ankle in week 14. Then he missed week 15, didn't look right in week 16 and week 17. But this guy was absolutely carrying your fantasy team, winning you weeks by himself. No reason to think he can't do that again next year. Nothing's going to change with this Dolphins offense. It's going to be Tua. It's going to be Tyreek. It's going to be Jalen Waddle. This guy has the potential to win you a week on any given week. And maybe next year actually is the year he does get 2K yards if he can stay healthy. And then at number 3, I got CeeDee Lamb. This guy has been an absolute stud for years. I'm glad finally people are noticing it now and realizing it. I've said for 3 years now, draft this guy. He's awesome. He was great last year, but this year he took an even bigger leap. One of the best wide receivers in football. He's got Dak Prescott. He's in this Dallas offense. You got to feel great about CeeDee Lamb, and he is just now entering his prime. That's what's great about CeeDee Lamb. Also, I know injuries can happen to anybody, but CeeDee Lamb has been extremely durable so far. He doesn't take huge shots a lot of times. He's a guy you should feel great about drafting as a top 3 pick next year. Now, I know Justin Jefferson disappointed as the number 1 pick this year, but I still have him as number 4. You look at him, even in games without Kirk Cousins this year, he was still pretty good. Got to think Kirk Cousins is going to be back. The Vikings are not a team in rebuild mode. They're trying to win right now. They actually have a pretty good defense. They have weapons on offense. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be back, but to be honest, I don't think it matters because if it's not Kirk Cousins, they're going to bring in a decent quarterback, and Justin Jefferson is pretty close to quarterback proof as long as it's not Jaren Hall. We saw even with Nick Mullins, he had nice games. Justin Jefferson, to me, has tremendous upside, similar upside to Tyreek Hill. I will happily take him at number 4. And then I will happily take Ja'Marr Chase at number 5. I know it was a down year for Chase too, but remember Joe Burrow got hurt in the preseason, started slow, and then he got hurt in the middle of the season, and he had to play with Jake Browning for many weeks, and then Ja'Marr Chase got hurt as well. This is still a stud wide receiver, still young. We got to bank on Joe Burrow being healthy next year. We saw it in 2022 when Joe Burrow was healthy. Ja'Marr Chase was fantastic. No reason to think that won't be the case in 2024. Only a Joe Burrow or Ja'Marr Chase injury can derail his season. Coming in at number 6, I've got Breece Hall. I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed that Breece Hall finished strong because I was hoping he wouldn't and then people would be off him next year, but that's not going to be the case. He's probably going to be a mid-first rounder. He was great even in this terrible Jets offense, at least great for fantasy. We got to think he'll be even better with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, hopefully. Now, I'm sure he's not going to get those 9-10 chintzy Trevor Siemian dump-offs, but the offense is going to be better. He'll be able to score more touchdowns, and now he's going to be fully healthy off of that ACL. For as good as he was in fantasy, he wasn't that good in real life. He was very inefficient this year. He's going to be way more efficient next year. We're going to see those huge runs, those huge touchdowns that we did not see this year. He's going to be fully back and primed for a huge season. At number 7, I'm going with the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. This guy is an absolute stud in your PPR leagues. I mean, he's just an absolute stud, but in PPR, he gives you pretty much 20 points almost every single week, has one of the highest floors of any player, and also has a decent ceiling, and he's in this great Lions offense with Jared Goff, with Dan Campbell, this emerging Lions offense. No reason to think he's not going to be a target monster next year, with an extremely high floor to go with a great ceiling. For me, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be a guy I'm going to want to draft every chance I can. At number 8, I'm going to go with Kyren Williams. I'll be honest, it's tricky to place Kyren Williams because on the one hand, I mean, this guy's an absolute workhorse running back, one of the last true workhorse running backs, but also there are worries here. Number 1, Are the Rams just going to roll in the next season with Kyren Williams, Ronnie Rivers, Zach Evans, and these guys? And number two, is this really a guy who can hold up under this kind of usage for a second straight year? We saw middle of the season, he did miss some games. I mean, all running backs miss some games and get hurt. But remember, this guy isn't even 200 pounds. He's not built to be a true workhorse running back. Also, this offense far exceeded expectations, played way above where they should have. If Matthew Stafford regresses next year, this offense regresses. This could be a pick that ends up costing people, but I still think you got to chase the upside here for Kyren Williams at number 8. Like I said, one of the last true workhorse running backs. Now, I'll be honest, after this point, it gets tricky for me. There are quite a few guys I could put in here in any different order, but I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson at number 9. And let me say, this is predicated on Arthur Smith being gone. If for some reason Arthur Smith is the coach next year, I don't think I could draft Bijan Robinson in the first round, sadly. Nothing to do with Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson was phenomenal this year. He was everything he was advertised to be as a runner and as a catcher. The problem was his coach didn't want to play him and give him the ball as much as he should have. But if Arthur Smith is gone, we could see Bijan Robinson be a true workhorse running back next year. This guy has the upside of a CMC, of a Breece Hall. He just needs the opportunity. So as long as Arthur Smith is gone, I am more than happy to take Breece Hall inside the top 10. And then I'm going to be happy to take another year 2 running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, at pick number 10. We saw down the stretch, he earned the trust of Dan Campbell, and that's a big thing. We saw last year, DeAndre Swift did not earn the trust of Dan Campbell, and we saw how that worked out. But Jahmyr Gibbs definitely earned his trust. Now going into year 2, David Montgomery, a year older, a little bit slower probably. We could see Jahmyr Gibbs get even more work going into year 2. We know the pass catching. Talked about this offense, one of the best offensive lines in football. Tremendous touchdown upside every single week for Jahmyr Gibbs. I will happily take him at pick 10. At pick 11, I'm going A.J. Brown. I know he had kind of a disappointing finish to the season, as did the entire Eagles offense and really the Eagles team. But I expect a big bounce back from A.J. Brown. Let's not forget, for most of the season, A.J. Brown was kind of going toe-to-toe with Tyreek Hill. This guy has tremendous weekly upside, can win you multiple weeks by himself. We got to think this Eagles offense, this whole Eagles team, is going to rebound next year. There's too much talent on this team to not rebound. A.J. Brown has a huge weekly ceiling, and I want to chase that in the first round. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a guy that can win me multiple weeks, who also has a high floor and won't kill me most of the time. A.J. Brown fits that bill. I'm taking him at number 11. And then finally at number 12, it's crazy, but I think I got to put Puka Nacua here. I mean, I considered some other guys like Jonathan Taylor, Garrett Wilson, and maybe Travis Etienne, but I think Puka is the guy I feel best about. I mean, he had a great rookie season. He's in this Rams offense. Now, kind of like what I talked about Kyren, there are some risks here. What if Stafford reverts back to bad Stafford? What if this offense kind of takes a step back after having a really good season, which we do see a lot of the times? But also there's reasons to be encouraged, like Cooper Kupp's going to be a year older now, so maybe Puka Nacua gets more of this target share. Maybe Cooper Kupp loses a step. Maybe Cooper Kupp just retires. I don't know. But Puka Nacua, also another guy with tremendous weekly upside who gives you a tremendous weekly floor. That's what I'm looking for in the first round. So I'll happily take Puka Nacua with the last pick in round 1. All right, so there you go. That's my way too early first round for 2024. Drop a comment. Let me know who is your way too early first round for 2024. I want to hear from you.